Icelocked here with Nocturne Gaming, back with more Legends of Idleon, and today we're taking a look at the World 5 Nightmare boss, Sacrilegious Kattlekruk. Sacrilegious Kattlekruk is located in the World 5 map Minor Mole Outskirts, and there are a few requirements to be able to fight this boss. The first requirement is getting enough Crux Volcano Keys to be able to attempt this boss. Each attempt will require 70 Crux Volcano Keys, and there are two sources for these keys. The first is by completing quests on each character, and there are 3 quests available. The first quest is to kill 6 million of these big ol' moles, and this rewards you with 10 Crux Volcano Keys per character that completes that quest. One thing to mention here is these quests, the active killing does not count properly on these quests right now, so while you're killing these big ol' moles, it is best to be offline, as it will make your 6 billion kills go a lot faster if you have enough damage. But next up is the second quest, and this requires you to kill 10 million crawlers. This does reward you with 25 Crux Volcano Keys per character that completes the quest, and the crawlers are in the next map down, the Crawly Catacombs. After that, you do have one more quest. I feel like I should mention it here. This quest does not award you with keys, but it is what most of us are looking forward to, and this quest requires you to equip a Divine Scarf, which we'll go over at the end, and also get the Kattlekruk Cape. One thing to mention here is you have to get the Kattlekruk Cape on the character that has this quest. If you don't have the quest, or you already have the cape on another character, it will not count for completion here. But if you're able to complete this, it does give you an awesome reward, which is a new trophy. This is one of the Divine. It does require your characters to be level 450 to equip it, but the rewards on it are pretty awesome. This gives you 10 weapon power, 30 to each of your base stats, 42% drop chance, and 35% total damage. So this is by far one of the best in slots for our fighting characters, and all in all, it's what most of us are looking forward to right now. But back to where we get our keys from. We have one more source of the keys, and this is by killing different monsters, and that is the same monsters that you did for the quest. The big ol' mole gives you a 1 in 75,000 drop chance for a Crux Volcano Key. Keep in mind that your multi-kill does apply to this, so the more damage you have, the more multi-kill you have, the better off you're going to be on your key farming. But I do recommend that you farm the later mobs, such as the Crawler, as this gives you a 1 in 50,000 drop chance. And I do notice that there's a little bit more kills per hour on this versus big ol' moles. But all in all, your best source of keys is going to be from the Tremor Worms, and this is a 1 in 25,000 drop chance. And I notice a significant gain in kills per hour on Tremor Worms compared to the Crawlers. So I'm gaining a lot more keys by being able to farm the Tremor Worms. The second requirement is to have enough accuracy to fight Nightmare Kattlekruk. The accuracy requirement on the boss itself is only having 900 accuracy. However, there's going to be a lot of big ol' moles that spawn in this boss fight, which we'll go over while we're in there, but big ol' moles require 54,000 accuracy to have a 100% hit chance. This requirement can be ignored depending on how much damage that you have, but we'll go over that once we're in the fight itself. The third requirement for Nightmare Kattlekruk is having enough damage. This boss does have 1,000 trillion HP. That's a lot of HP, and there's also a healing mechanic. The main mechanic of this boss is basically a DPS race, as well as fighting how much healing goes on. So there's going to be a lot of big ol' moles that spawn, and every mole that touches the boss does heal him for a significant portion of your HP. Using a Voidwalker is going to require probably 50 billion damage or more. The lowest I've completed it on is 70 billion on my Voidwalker, but that is a rather difficult boss fight, and we're going to show you how to fight it with a Voidwalker a little bit later. However, if you're just looking to clear Nightmare, I recommend that you fight on a character that has good wave clear. The Divine Knight statue that can hit every mob around it, the Bubonic Conjurer's Poison Clouds, the Elemental Sorcerer's Meteors, things like that. The Hunter and the Bowman can struggle a little bit depending on how much damage you have, and the Blood Berserker does have its new wave clear that it was buffed up to be able to wave clear, so I was able to do that fairly easy as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at the boss fight, and we're going to switch over to our Voidwalker and give that a shot. Alright, so we're in the boss fight. You can see it has a ridiculous amount of HP. I do have a little over 100 billion damage on this character, so we're going to knock out a little bit of damage. And while you're fighting this boss, you're going to see a ton of moles in here. So every mole that hits this is a constant wave. It never stops, and as you can see, it just heals a ridiculous amount. So one of the best ways to be able to clear this using a Voidwalker is to use your Void Radius and get a few good damages in, a few good damage punches in, and then start using your abilities to wave clear. And this is going to be a back and forth section until your Void Radius comes back up, and you're just looking to clear as much of these as you can during the time, and then run to the next wave and waiting on Void Radius again. So we're going to speed this up here and go through the boss fight, but this is only going to take us a few minutes to clear this boss using about 100 billion damage and waiting on Void Radius. So we're going to get a few more hits in, wait for everything to get close, and use Void Radius, and then start hitting the boss, and hopefully get as much damage as you can in this time frame. All right, so we've got the boss done, and let's go ahead and take a look at our loot next. Taking a look at the loot for Nightmare Kattlekruk, we have 8 main drops from him, as well as the basic drops such as coins and statues, and we also have a few more really nice things from Quest and the Merit Shop as well, so we'll take a look at those at the very end. But the main first drop is the card itself, which gives you 18% money from monsters per tier. So at the gold 3-star tier, we have 72% money from monsters. After that, we do have the Crux Tooth and Crux Cavity. These are the same things that you get from normal mode and chaotic mode, with just a lot better drop chance. So from one attempt on Nightmare Kattlekruk, we got 24 of the basic tooth and 24 of the chaotic tooth. This is dependent on your drop rarity, so the more drop rarity you have, the more of these you'll get. And then moving on, we have the Strung Tooth Pendant. This is a very good pendant, and I don't have one of these right now because I used it to upgrade into the Scarf, but the pendant itself gives you 8 weapon power, 6% to your base stats, 30 defense, 20% total damage, 5% to all stats, and 5 upgrade slots. One thing to mention on here is, again, the drop rates are significantly better from normal mode. We're at 1 in 100,000 down to 1 in 2,500 on Nightmare mode. Next up is the Molten Obol. This is the same Obol that you get from normal and chaotic modes. However, we'll go over the stats on that real quick. This is a best in slot Obol, and this gives you 7 weapon power, 15 to all of your base stats, 5% all AFK gains, and 2% total damage. This is going to be best in slot for skilling, for fighting while you're AFK, and for sampling. The only time that something's going to be better is if you're activating on a character. Having the additional drop rate may not be a bad idea. But this can be upgraded as well using the reroll tab here, and the potential is you can get 6% all AFK gains on this, and you have 4 family slots as well as a personal Sparkle Obol that can use this, which means a potential of 30% to all AFK gains depending on how many of them you can farm. Again, mentioning the drop rate on this, normal mode is a 1 in 20,000 and nightmare mode is 1 in 715. So it's a pretty good change overall. We also have the new upgrade stones on this. We have weapon upgrades and helmet upgrades from the nightmare mode. So taking a look at these real quick, we have the weapon upgrade stones here. This gives us a 62% chance to apply. However, these special upgrades do consume the slot even if the upgrade fails. But this does give you more weapon power, and I believe it's the same amount of main stat for using these. So 1 more weapon power per upgrade slot if you're willing to take the risk on that lower chance. The helmet upgrade stones are very similar as well. However, you're giving up the weapon power and defense to just give you more random stats on your helmet. I don't know if this is worth it, but it is an option for you to use as well if you have the helmet upgrades. Back to our other drops, we have 1 more main drop, and these are the new wings, the Eternal Flames of the Divine. These new wings give the 5 weapon power, 11 to base stats, 25 defense, and 40% to skill EXP, as well as 3% to all AFK gains. Personally, I'm not really super excited about these wings. They do look pretty cool, but all in all, I think there's better wings out there for these different things. But it is necessary to complete the quest, so you at least want to get 1 of these on each character to complete the quest here, as you do need the Kattlekruk cape here, and this rewards you with a new trophy. We went over these stats a little earlier, but again, 10 weapon power, 30 to all stats, 42% drop chance, and 35% total damage. One big requirement is the level 450 level requirement to be able to equip this, so make sure you're leveling up your characters. And our last section for the rewards are from the task board, the merit shop. You need upgrades 7 through 9 need to clear nightmare mode to be able to upgrade these last few items, and that requires a few special achievements for Kattlekruk. Taking a look at the rewards there though, the anvil, the last 3 achievements gives you access to craft the Skull Lance, which is the warrior upgrade. This gives you a higher weapon speed, more weapon power, more total damage, and more mob respawn. So it is significantly better here. The speed on this is 7, so you're going to 8, more weapon power and more base stats, as well as 1 additional upgrade slot. The Cracked Skull Destroyers is the upgrade for the Voidwalker's weapon, and again, you're getting more speed, more weapon power, more damage and mob respawn, as well as an additional upgrade slot. So it's pretty much just a straight upgrade for you. The last one is clearing nightmare mode on all 10 characters. So all of your characters will need to be leveled up with decent gear and enough damage to clear nightmare mode to be able to unlock the Divine Scarf. This is a new pendant slot. It requires level 425 to equip, so don't craft these in bulk unless you have all your characters leveled up. To craft this, it does require Cheezor's Caustic Scarf. It requires the Strung Tooth Pendant, which is a drop, Chaotic Mode Teeth, and also 2 Lucky Lads to craft this. This pendant does give you 15 weapon power, 35 to all your stats, 35 defense, 25% all AFK gain rates, 20% mob respawn, and 11 upgrade slots. So this is by far best in slot for skilling, for fighting, for pretty much everything. It's pretty much best in slot at this point. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button and drop a comment if you're enjoying our content. And a huge shout out to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. If you would like to become a patron, check out the link in the description for more details. And be sure to visit our merch store so you can get some pretty cool stuff. If you have any thoughts or questions, let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.